Hello everybody and welcome back to this tutorial. And right now, since this will be a theory video, let us define a few different things that can prevent us from scanning our target machine. Now we're going to write all of them, so simply just open up your LeafPad. I will simply open it by typing LeafPad in my terminal window. And since there are several components that make a security system that blocks certain traffics, and we actually mentioned some of them. First of all, we did mention what a firewall is, but right now we're going to actually mention how we can bypass it. So what firewall is simply it can be used to filter out the traffic, so we already know that, and it also can be used to separate networks, so to separate. This is the purpose of a firewall. Now, the firewall is simply there to filter out the traffic. It is not aimed to a malicious activity or to cyber criminals or any types of attacks. Firewall can be used just to filter out the traffic. Now, what is used against the attacks and against the DDoS attacks is the IDS and IPS. So you can simply just type IDS /IPS. Now, IDS basically stands for Intrusion Detection System, so it can be used to block malicious attempts or malicious activity, and they can also track back the attacker and see from where did the attack come from. So let's just add the dash right here and type block malicious attempts or malicious activity. Okay. And they can track back the attacker, so they can track back the attacker. Okay. Now, this is just the actual brief overview of these things. So the last thing that we're going to take a look at is honeypots. And basically what honeypots are, they're purposely made vulnerable machines that are actually meant to be attacked. Now, they can either be virtual machines or real machines, and they are used to trap the attacker who thinks it's a normal vulnerable machine on network. Once he tries to attack it, then some alarm goes off and the attacker is caught. But the thing about honeypots, which also represents danger to the target, is that if they are not set up correctly, they can actually become a serious vulnerability in the target's network. So they are either put before or after firewall by default, and they catch the attacker simply because they capture all traffic that the attacker tries on the honeypot in a small log file, and therefore that log file can be analyzed later, and you can see if there is something suspicious there, like maybe attacker tried to perform an SQL injection to the web application of the honeypot. It will all be captured in that log file. Now, why are honeypots dangerous? Like, let's imagine you actually breach into a network and you scan and you find out 5 different machines. And 4 of those machines basically don't have any ports open, while as one machine has a bunch of ports open, and you discover that it actually ran some vulnerable softwares on those open ports. Now, by default, you will be wanting to actually attack that machine and exploit the network through that machine, but in real life, that kind of machine that is vulnerable with a bunch of services running there, with a bunch of open ports, will most likely be a honeypot that is only there to capture the attacker. Okay, so now the difference between the actual firewall and IDS IPS that we already actually mentioned is that IDS usually will go before the actual firewall, and its main purpose is to stop attackers or block malicious traffic, as it says right here, while as the firewall simply just filters traffic with different rules. Now, the IDS is the actual component of security system that actually prevents DDoS attacks. Now that we know what firewall, IDS and honeypots are, let's see how we can evade them in theory in our scans, and then we're going to implement that in the next video with our Nmap. So, hope you enjoyed this short tutorial, and I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye!